This video is the split level house footing and foundation. If we look at our PDF attached document, it's going to have all our relevant measurements. Feel free to use the plus at the top to zoom in the event that some of these measurements are appearing a little small. Also make sure that you examine the complete document. There's a lot of different perspectives that give all the different measurements. Also, it's worth mentioning in the video that in the assignment, there are all the photographs attached. So at any time, you can just examine each individual photograph and zoom in a different way using your roller. Okay, so we're going to start with the basic outline of the footing. So let's start with this measurement here, 60 foot 10 inches. So let's go, we're going to make 60 foot 10 inches. Okay, so go 60 feet, 10 quotes, enter. Okay. Now we're going to go over 42 feet 8 inches. Okay, let's go down 47 feet 8 inches. Once in a while, it's good just to kind of check it out, make sure that your lines are in the right spot. Okay, 47 feet 8 inches. Okay. Now we're going to go over 25 feet 10 inches. Okay, we're going to come all the way down here and go over. Okay. Now what we're going to do is we're going to, this footing has a thickness of 1 foot 8 inches for the most part. This interior portion here is actually 1 foot 6 inches. If you see, check that out right there, okay? So here's what we're going to do. Let's first take care of the 1 foot 8. 1 foot 8 inches. Okay, so we've got that. Now, let's just add this in here. So we got 6 foot 10 inches from there. What I'm going to do though is, let's see, so that's 6 foot 10. Make sure you start on this side. Let's go over 6 foot 10 inches. Okay. If you want, you can go 1 foot 6 inches here, and we'll go back down. You start on this side, you end up with some little jagged edge there, and it doesn't quite work out. Okay. So let's go over here, join that, and we can now use our measurement here. And we'll just go 1 foot 6 inches and double check that. Yes, we're good. Okay. Okay. Now we can just get rid of this, this, and this. Okay. Now what we're going to do is we're going to give depth to our footing. So if we peruse the document, you will see that our footing is 1 foot thick, 1 foot thick. Okay, so let's make that 1 foot thick. Before we do that though, let's add our texture to that, which is polished. So if we add it now in 2 dimensions, it'll automatically fill it in for us in the 3 dimensions, or at least it should. Okay. I say should because there we go. It didn't work for me. I hope it works for you. Huh. Okay. Otherwise you have to go back and okay. Okay, so we've got our footing. It's got depth, it's got texture. Now what we want to do is we're going to create the foundation. But before we jump to that, we're going to add our dimensions. We're also going to make our tags. So let's make our tag for the footing. So let's go down to tags. We're going to go plus, go footing. And then we're going to add footing dimension. And since we're here, let's go foundation. And we'll do our foundation dimensions. And let's even add one for the floor. Okay. So, I'm not going to worry too much about this right now. So we got that. Let's delete the floor for the moment. We'll erase that. Okay, so we've got our basic footing. I'm going to put a window around this. I'm going to right click, left click on entity info, and let's look at our tags. Currently it's not tagged. So let's put it in the footing. Okay, now if you're not sure, turn it off, it should disappear. There you go. Okay, let's add our dimensions. Okay. Now the idea is you're going to include the dimensions that I included. So if someone were to use your drawing, your print, they could recreate it. Okay. Okay. So usually dimensions need a line. So you might find yourself having to draw a line and then going back and deleting it, which is okay. If you decide you want to leave the line, I'm probably not going to take any marks off. So we'll just get rid of that. Okay. Okay, now let's add those dimensions to their tag. I'm holding the control button down and I'm left clicking on the dimensions so that we can get them all in one foul swoop. Go click. Now I'm going to let go of the control. I'm going to right click on this one here, click on entity information with your left button, and let's go down to our tag. We're going to add this to the footing dimension tag, which we can probably turn off because we don't really need those anymore. Okay. Okay, so we're going to check out the foundation itself. We've got our information here. You can add the floor now, or you could add the floor at the end. It's up to you. Now our foundation is inset 6 inches from the outside edge. Our foundation is 10 inches thick. Please pay careful attention to that. And it's going to be 6 foot tall. Okay, so let's proceed. Let's use our offset. And let's go 6 inches. Okay. And let's go 10 inches. 10 inches. Okay. Now if you wanted to double check, is this 10? Yes, it is. And that is 6. And we're all good to go. Notice it does not go all the way to the inside edge. Okay? All that's left now is the portion, which is kind of the interior part of the footing for what's going to be the garage. So because it's a different width, we couldn't really catch it with that offset procedure that we did previously. So we're going to hand draw this in. So what we can do is, I'm going to start here. I'm going to go all the way to the end, like so. Obviously, I'm going to have to erase some of that. That's okay. Then what we're going to do is I'm going to go over 10 inches because that's the width of our footing. Okay. Let's get our pencil. There's our end point. There you go. Now, if you're ever not sure, always double check your work. There's that, and that's our 4 inches, and that's 4 inches there, and that's okay because it's critical that this is 10, okay? So now what we're going to do is, since we've got 4 on each side, we can just go over here. You can use the measuring tape or you could use your pencil if you want. You could do it anywhere. I'm going to go 4 inches. And let's go to there. And we're going to go over to that line. And we could do the same thing over here. Go in 4 inches. Before you get too far, double check your work. Okay, that is 10, and that's what it should be. Save you a lot of erasing. Okay, now we're going to grab our eraser, get rid of the stuff that we no longer need. Okay. And get rid of this line here. Everything looks like it's all out of the way and good. Now, according to our instructions, the foundation height, as previously mentioned, is 6 feet tall. So let's get our push-pull option and push this up 6 feet tall. Now we're going to change the texture. We're going to select the form texture in the concrete menu, which is concrete form 4x8, because in real life they would actually use concrete forms made out of 4x8 sheets of plywood. Now, as for dimensions, all we really need is, we're going to go with the thickness, and we're going to go with the height. So Obviously, we want to communicate how tall to make this. So that's 6 feet. And give the indication as to how thick it is right there. And that should be it. Now, if you have not already added the floor, as in this case here, now is the time to add it. So we'll just add that floor. This is our basement. So what we're going to do with the basement portion is we're going to put the floor in, but inside like so. There's our polished concrete for the floor in the basement. Now what you're looking at is, this is the garage portion of the home, which is quite a typical location for split levels, and this is the concrete floor for the basement. Now following this, we're going to populate the basement with all the relevant walls, because this is going to be a finished basement.